Hi, I'm Katie and welcome to episode 21 of MyDenmarkTV.com. As the autumnal weather takes hold and it's getting a bit chilly and time to wrap up warm, we thought we'd see how Danes adopt traditional autumnal holidays like Halloween. Liyuan is also going to go and check out some more people who've gone through the tricky process of getting their work permit. And once you get that work permit, maybe you want to settle here more permanently. So we've got some tips for you on how to find out more about mortgages and loans. But first, did you know that there are about 2.5 million residential homes in Denmark? It's split about 50-50 between homeowners and renters, and the number of young people owning their own home has dropped from 62 to 48% in the last 20 years. Maybe it has something to do with the cost of buying a home. If, like many people who come to Denmark, you're thinking about buying a house or an apartment someday, then it's vital to know how the banking system works, especially when it comes to getting loans. That's why I went to visit with Henrik Druesbjerg of Nordea Bank earlier this week, who gave us some tips on how to get a mortgage in Denmark. Can you briefly describe how one goes about getting a loan or mortgage in Denmark?
Well, the normal procedure is that if you are credible, you will be able to borrow 80% of the real estate's value by a credit union, and then normally you either save the last 20% yourself or you borrow it from a bank.
And can you give us the advantages and disadvantages of having a variable loan versus a fixed rate loan?
Well, the most normal thing in Denmark is a fixed rate loan, which normally is done for a 30-year period. Then you know how your economy will look like for the next very many years. So you know what to plan for, and you know how badly your economy will be affected if we, for example, are hit by a crisis. For the more risk-willing client, there is the possibility of choosing a flexible rate loan, running from 1 year to maybe 3 years or 5 years. Of course, the risk is much higher here. The rates could change very rapidly, as we saw last fall during the credit crisis. Rates rose from approximately 2 or 3% to 5.5%. So that could change your economy dramatically. And you should, of course, be aware of the risk of that before you choose a loan like that.
Are there any regulations or requirements that a foreigner will need to fulfill to get a loan in Denmark?
Well, you need to contact the bank and you need to have a sort of a credit score. That are you capable of paying back this loan over the 30-year period? Is your economy robust enough to withstand maybe changes if you choose the flexible rate loan? Could you stand, for example, a change in the rate for 4, 3, 5%? You should do this consideration, and the bank will give you some idea of how many money you are supposed to be able to loan with the economy you have, the sort of income you have, and other maybe loans you could have in other places. So. Getting back to a more recent element of Danish culture is Halloween, which has really only kicked off here in Denmark in the last 10 years or so. Halloween, or All Hallows Eve, was traditionally a pagan festival which was then adopted by America and turned into the money-making holiday it is today. Now, one of the key things Danes have picked up from the American tradition of Halloween is the pumpkin. And as you can see, they've turned it into probably the biggest pumpkin patch in the country this week. Now, if you are from a Halloween culture and want to get your pumpkin, you can pick it up in any supermarket or farmer's market for about 20 kroner, which is pretty inexpensive. And remember, last year the harvest was so bountiful, they ended up having to throw away millions of pumpkins, so you may be able to pick one up for free. Just check out for those stands along the side of the road. We'll come back to Halloween a little bit later on, but first, Liyuan went out to meet Sisi a few weeks ago to find out more about how she got her work permit.
In general, it can be difficult to get a work visa here in Denmark. So today, I have invited Sisi to join the show and to share her story about how she got her work visa here in Denmark. So Sisi, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Where do you come from?
I come from China, a city called Xi'an.
So how long have you been living here in Denmark?
3 years. I came here as a student in DTU as a master degree, and I graduated as a master in telecommunication engineer, and then I got a job in A.P.Møller Maersk after that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So was it difficult for you to change from a study visa to a work visa?
In my case, it's not so difficult because I'm an engineer. I got a job as an engineer. According to the policy of Danish immigration, that's very easy to get a working permit. So the thing I did is I signed a contract with my company, and my companies will need to fill in a form, and I fill in another form, and I will handing my contract, 2 of these forms, into the immigration office. Then after around 2 months, I got the working permit.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So you are an engineer. So do you know any other requirements for people who are not working as engineer?
As I know, you can get some job if you got paid above 380,000 per year. Or you can get a job that they can't find any other people can do it in Denmark, so that they have to go to you as a foreign employee. That's what I heard.
Okay.
Yes.
So how long did you wait for your visa?
2 months.
2 months?
Yes.
Was it normal to wait for 2 months, or?
I think it's quite normal. 1 to 2 months is very normal.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome.
I'm sure a lot of our viewers will find this information very useful.
I have to say, that was some really good advice from Sisi.
I know, and hopefully we will bring a lot of new interviews in the future.
And one of my favourite parts of the show is when we can end on something really fun, which is why we've come here to Tivoli, where they're having a big Halloween celebration.
And it's a great fun where foreigners and the Danish people can celebrate this holiday together here in Tivoli. As you said, pumpkins play such a huge part of it. You know, every year Tivoli actually brings thousands of pumpkins here. Some with carvings and some of them super-sized for celebration. They also have fancy dress competition for the kids. And the witches put on very entertaining and scary show.
And maybe people at home have already been carving out their masterpieces. Please let us know. Do you have any favourite designs or scary faces you like to carve into pumpkins? Or how do you celebrate Halloween where you live? Get in touch with us through our website, mydenmarktv.com, where you can leave a comment, subscribe to the show, or share your favourite episode with friends and family. We love to hear from you. Until next week, when we're going to be out and about with our laptops, join us then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
TV.com, where you can leave a comment, subscribe to the show, or share